Today's video is going to be a bit of a Q&A. Now, on this channel, you're probably going to be seeing various things over the coming weeks, such as things like Q&As, inner life, training sessions, all things that are just related around health and fitness, but for me, and maybe something that you can relate towards too. Now, the premise of this Q&A episode is for me to go through questions that I got on my Instagram. So on my Instagram, I asked people to put any question they want regarding health and fitness, and I'm going to give them the answer to the best of my ability with the knowledge that I have. So question number one was, how do I stay motivated? Now, this is a very common question within this industry, and to this day many people still rely on motivation in order to stay on course, whether it be with the training, the nutrition, the health, and just the general fitness. Well, unfortunately, motivation will only get you so far. Now, this isn't to say that motivation shouldn't be used, because it definitely should. But what is going to keep you going is a form of discipline. Now, it's very easy for me to say motivation doesn't exist. Discipline is the thing that matters the most. To an extent, yes, it is true. But this does not mean you can't rely on forms of motivation. So that could come from dropping some weight. That could come from dropping a dress size or putting on some clothes and they start to feel better. That could come from getting into the gym, and last time you did a 60 kg bench, it felt better than last time. It could be doing your 5k run and getting 20 seconds faster than last time. All of these things can bring on little bouts of motivation which can be used, but ultimately in the background what's always got to happen is discipline's got to be there. So no matter what, and on them days where you're not feeling up to it, just still turn up. Still do your best to either go to the gym, make the best diet choices possible, get the best sleep that you can, and be as active as possible. But some days aren't going to go to plan, and that's also okay. But you cannot let it become a thing of every day when you're lacking the motivation that you just don't do it. That can't happen. You have to turn up, and even if you're not feeling 100%, still give it what you can. But the next question is a bit relevant to the time of the year we're on now, and that is, how can I stay on track over Christmas? Now, most people go wrong around Christmas time because plans start to crop up. People start getting tubs of heroes, celebrations, they start having the mince pies, and things just start creeping in. And then before you know it, the whole month of December becomes that thing of, my nutrition has gone to absolute shit, my training's gone to absolute shit, and I feel terrible. And that's why you'll always see the bounce back in January, because December's such a bit of basically December's a shit show. There's no other way to put it. Now, that can be stopped. And this isn't to say not to enjoy your Christmas, because you should enjoy your Christmas, it's very important. But the things that you have to have in place is just making sure that throughout December, yes, whilst you do have plans, and you might have, let's say, 5 days in December where things are just going to go a little bit crazy due to a night out, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, all these things. But the other days, just carry on as normal. That is literally the best bit of advice I can give you. You don't have to reduce things too much. You don't have to pull back too much. All I would recommend doing is just being normal on the other days. Carry on your diet as you would, but on the day where you're going out for a celebration, go and enjoy it. Christmas Day, enjoy it. Definitely please do not think about doing anything other than enjoying yourself on Christmas Day. I beg you. And as long as you enjoy them days and the other days stay normal, probably not actually going to ruin your progress that much. You'd be very surprised. So take that on board. Next question, is there an optimal amount of time to spend in the gym? The answer is, it depends. Now, if you're watching this, you have a family, you've got 2 kids, you work a full-time job, then you're looking at having very limited time across the week. So if I was to say to you, go and do a 2-hour session 5 times a week, it's not going to happen. It's not going to stick. End of. Whereas if I said to you, okay, let's go twice a week, maybe even once, 30 to 45 minute session, boom, done. That sounds a lot more realistic. So what I would say, it all depends. Now, if you're someone who's very young and has a lot of free time to yourself and you do want to spend more time in the gym, that's absolutely fine. But I would always veer on the side of going and spending the amount of time in the gym that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life. Now, that could change due to many factors. But let's be honest, if I said to most people, are you going to be able to go to the gym 3 times a week, 45 minutes at a time for the rest of your life? The answer is probably yes. Even with someone who has a hectic schedule, that can still be done. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to go for an hour to an hour and a half at a time, 5 or 6 times a week, can you see yourself doing that? No. So to sum it up, the best amount of time to spend in the gym is the amount that suits you. but always think about realistic and can you keep this up going forward into the future. And the final question is, what are my thoughts on Ozempic? Now, Ozempic isn't the only one. There's other weight loss injections out there at this moment in time. And my view on them in general is that I'm not a huge fan, but that's usually because the audience that is currently using them. I would say they do have their place. There's some people out there who, if they do not sort their current body weight out in the next few years, could develop something like diabetes. They could potentially be at a high risk of a heart attack or a stroke. They're the people who probably need it. And it's going to help them reduce the body fat, which is going to reduce the risk of these things happening. But if you're someone who's looking to lose 7 pounds and you're doing it via weight loss injection, I'd say there's bigger problems. Ultimately, losing 7 pounds is not too difficult. What that means is that you're not willing to change your current habits. And no matter how much of this stuff you inject into you, because eventually you're going to have to stop, if those habits have not changed, you will return to your previous state. And you end up going through this period then of, okay, I'll just take them injections again. And then I go back to where I was. I'll take the injections again. I'll go back to where I was. And you're just in this constant shitty cycle, always looking for the quick fix. And ultimately, things will never change for you. You're going to be yo-yoing constantly back and forth. Whereas if you actually look into your habits day to day and think, okay, what can I change to potentially help me lose some weight? But ultimately, if your diet does end up looking healthier and more nutrient dense, you're going to feel better anyway. It's just a natural thing that does happen. You have to look into the habits. You can't just look into, I'll inject this and it'll do the work for me, because it doesn't really change anything apart from reducing your appetite, making you eat less, helping you lose weight. If you come back off it, the appetite's going to go back up. More than likely, you're going to put the weight on, if not more. So things to consider for that. So my overall thoughts on it is, it does have its place, but not everyone should be using it, and especially the people who are probably in the limelight and the news for using it shouldn't be using it. So that was today's Q&A episode. Hopefully you enjoyed this, my opinions, what I have to say, and hopefully to help in some way. I want you to take away from this just a bit of advice. You can nitpick parts of that advice and apply it to your daily, weekly routine, and hopefully it helps you progress forward in the way that you want to go. I'll probably be doing these hopefully once a week, maybe a couple of times a month. You'll be seeing some training videos. Again, it might even just be little example meals. I'm just going to get together a few ideas of what I'm going to post, try and make this a more frequent thing, and hopefully you can watch along and enjoy. If you do want to see my social media, I am at Ben Mannion Coaching on Instagram. Drop me a follow, have a look through the posts. Again, depending on what sort of person you are and what you're looking for and what you're looking to achieve, I might be the right person just to follow and see a bit of advice from. But apart from that, I'll catch you in the next one.